Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now this massive warning signal is still flashing on the Bitcoin chart, while the price is now flashing a new signal in the short term that we need to pay attention to. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside Ethereum, which is still rejecting from short-term resistance, while Solana is potentially flashing a new signal in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in this video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF news today, and just yesterday on Monday, we actually saw a net outflow of around 36.7 million US dollars. And if we're taking a look at the breakdown, we can see a decent inflow going into BlackRock, but once again, we saw another outflow from Grayscale, this time of around 110 million US dollars, 110 million leaving Grayscale just yesterday, just on Monday. And so once again, this gives us a net outflow at the end of the day, at the end of Monday, of around 36.7 million US dollars, which basically means that much worth of Bitcoin was essentially sold on Monday by the Bitcoin ETFs. And so this is one of the reasons as to why we saw another short-term pullback over the last 1 day or so, because we saw another net outflow. But with that being said, if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin halving countdown, there's only 3.5 days to go until the Bitcoin halving, which only happens once every 4 years. And if you're new to this channel, the Bitcoin halvings have a major effect on the price of Bitcoin, but I talked more about this in my last video here on the channel. So if you want to know more about this chart right here and how the Bitcoin halvings can impact Bitcoin, then check out my last video here on the channel to find out more. And so with that being said, taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin chart, right now we're still within a bit of a pullback phase during the bull market. And so it's important to remember that even during a bullish market or a larger bullish trend, we can see 20 or even 30% pullbacks along the way, which is very normal price action to see even during a bull market. And so as usual, it's important to understand the difference between the different time frames. Once again, on the larger time frames, looking at the bigger picture, I'm still extremely bullish on the price of Bitcoin. But of course, in the shorter term, we can see short-term pullbacks or short-term bearish price action during the larger bullish trend. And if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, looking at the DXY, as of right now, this is still spiking to the upside, which is technically a bearish signal, a warning signal for Bitcoin and crypto. And this is something that I've been talking about for a while now on the channel. I've been warning everyone about how this is most likely going to cause some short-term bearish price action, and this is exactly playing out as expected. And so at least while the DXY continues spiking to the upside, there is a very good chance that this pullback, at least in the short term, will continue in the price of Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. In the short term, we're currently in a pullback phase in the market, looking bearish. Once again, just in the short term, this is happening during the larger bullish trend. And as always, I'll keep you up to date on what's happening here in the DXY and many other important Bitcoin charts. So make sure you subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos. And with that being said, taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, this break to the downside from this pattern is still continuing, and we still have this area of support to pay attention to in between around 61 to 62,000. And so keep in mind, we can still bounce around that area right there, but basically if we start breaking below around 61,000, or even if we start breaking below around $60,000 with confirmation, so candle closes below that level, then in that case it becomes extremely likely that the price would continue further to the downside towards the technical price target for this pattern right here, which is sitting at around $55,000. And so basically, if we break below 60,000 with confirmation, expect a move down towards around 55,000, give or take. And if we're zooming into a smaller time frame, looking at the 6-hour chart, of course, over the last 1 day, we've seen that continued rejection from this exact area of resistance that I've talked about recently on the channel. Once again, this area of resistance is still sitting in between around 65 to 66,000. And as of right now, we still have this area of support, once again, in between around 61 to 62,000. And so we could potentially bounce around there. But like I just said, if we start breaking below that area of support, expect a move down towards around 55,000. And also, if the price of Bitcoin actually holds this area of support and actually sees some sort of bounce here to form a higher low in place in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI, then we could possibly form a new bullish divergence here in the short term, because as of right now, we do have lower lows in the price of Bitcoin in the candle closes, while also forming higher lows in the RSI, at least as of right now. But it's important to understand that right now, this potential bullish divergence is not yet confirmed because we have not yet confirmed the higher low in place in the RSI. And so, for example, if this pullback continues here in the short term without seeing any little bit of a bounce, basically that can drag the RSI further to the downside. And if the RSI makes a lower low below this previous low, then of course there's no bullish divergence at all, because in that case, there'll be lower lows in the RSI and lower lows in the price, which means they're not diverging. And so in order to confirm this potential bullish divergence, we really need to see a bounce once again around this area of support. So around 61 to 62,000, give or take, and basically see some green candle closes confirm in order to confirm the higher low in place in the RSI. And if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take trades just like that over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And also, if you use that link to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim an exclusive 200 USDT airdrop position. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And just giving you a quick update on the Bitcoin funding rates and the funding rates for a lot of other cryptos across a lot of different exchanges. Right now, these funding rates are still sitting below neutral. A lot of the funding rates are sitting in negative territory. And so once again, as I've said over the last few days, this is telling us that there's a lot of traders in the market looking at opening short positions and not a lot of people right now looking at longing the market, longing the crypto market. And so due to the fact that there's an imbalance in the derivatives market right now in the crypto exchanges, we're basically seeing these negative funding rates, which means the short positions are having to pay these funding rates as a fee to the long positions. And so basically, the further negative these funding rates go, the more expensive it becomes to hold and maintain a short position. And at the same time, if these funding rates go further and further negative, the long positions are actually earning more and more money in fees from the short positions. And so basically, if these funding rates continue going further and further into the negative territory, oftentimes negative funding rates can ultimately lead to a short squeeze. And so just keep that in mind. Once again, right now the funding rates are negative, but at least for now, we're still kind of in a pullback phase in the market during the larger bullish trend. That is the situation right now. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, obviously just recently we broke below that golden pocket, which was sitting in between around 3.4k to 3.5k. And like I said on this channel, before we even saw that break to the downside, I said once we break below 3.4k, expect a move straight down to 2.9k, which is exactly what happened. And so at least for now, 2.9k is the important support to pay attention to. But let's just say if we actually break below 2.9k with confirmation, well, in that case, we could expect to move down towards around 2.4 to 2.5k as the next important support. But remember, even during a larger bullish trend, we can see pullbacks along the way. Just for as long as we don't start forming lower highs and lower lows in the price, we can still technically remain within the larger bullish trend. And if we're taking a look at the 8-hour time frame, we can see once again over the last one day, we continue to see that pullback exactly from this area of resistance, which I've been talking about here on the channel. And once again, that area of resistance is sitting in between around 3.2k to 3250. And as for short-term support to pay attention to, we have support in this range sitting in between around 2850 to 2950. And at least in the shorter term here, that's really the last important area of support before potentially much lower prices. Like I said earlier, if we start breaking well below around 2.9k with confirmation, we could potentially see a move down towards around 2,500. But remember, this is still currently occurring within the short term. Like I said earlier, on the smaller time frames, we're currently trending in the bearish direction as we're in a bit of a pullback phase in the market. But once again, it's important to understand the difference between the different time frames. So in the short term, yes, we're looking more bearish, but on the longer term, on the larger time frames, we can still remain within the larger bullish trend for as long as we bounce at around one of these levels of support. And if we're taking a look at Solana on the 8-hour time frame, we can see something similar where Solana is following Bitcoin and Ethereum in the short-term pullback. And obviously just a few days ago, we saw that bounce back to the upside and then a rejection, like I said in my last video, from the 38.2% Fibonacci level of resistance, which was sitting at around $155. And so for now, the price has been moving back down towards this area of support, which is sitting in between around 120 to 127. And we're also possibly forming a new bullish divergence here on the 8-hour time frame with lower lows in the price in the candle closes, while also forming higher lows in the 8-hour Solana RSI. But like I said earlier, as of right now, this is not yet confirmed at all because we have not yet confirmed the higher low in place in the RSI. And so, for example, if the price continues pulling back further to the downside, and if we break below this area of support, so below around 120, then that could potentially pull the RSI further to the downside. And if the RSI breaks into lower lows, then there's no bullish divergence at all. And so basically, in order to confirm this potential bullish divergence that's forming right now, we need to see a bounce sometime soon, whether it's right now or down towards this area of support. Either way, we need to see at least an initial bounce with a couple of green candle closes confirming in order to confirm the higher low in place in the RSI, considering the RSI goes off candle closes by default. And so this is something to pay attention to right now, but nothing to act on because once again, it's not yet confirmed. And if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, once again, check out those links down below this video to get those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.